It's a Friday. I'm Ken Knapsack in a beanie. That is Olden Diaz in a turtleneck. And we're here on a... is that a turtleneck? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
It's got neck. It has some neck.
It's got a little neck. Is that a crew neck?
I think it would qualify as a crew. Yeah,
a crew?
Crew neck sweater.
Okay.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. We're here for another edition of Anytime with Ken Alden, a show about news, politics, life, a lot of life. All those things, regulars checking in. Like Eli says, look, here's my take on Mr. Daryl Hall. He's a rich guy, and he's gone too far because he knows it don't matter anyway. But with that, Eli is banned from chat. I'm kidding.
Sorry, Eli. Good job, though. Good job right off the bat.
Yeah. Crafted Jedi, 8984M, Laser Bolt, and more checking in.
Hello. Steve, I know you say you've got kids, but I'm starting to not believe it. You're online. Are you holding one of them?
He also says he has a job. I don't believe it.
Producer Steve doesn't have a job. Producer Steve's job is pounding brews.
I just pounded Alden grape juice, like an old man or a Catholic.
Choice. Is that normal for you?
I love grape juice. And I went to the store yesterday, Alden, and I saw for $5, price to go, one of those big jugs of grape juice that's so big it needs a handle on it. Okay. And I went, give me that sugar, baby. Give me that sugar.
I like that.
All right.
There we go. Producer Steve says daycare is expensive.
It is.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. I mean, I remember I was with somebody for a while.
Sorry about that. So was I.
Welcome to our new topic, being single. And I remember the whole, this is just in Florida, VPK. They advertise free VPK for parents, right? And then the VPK is only really from noon to 3. And it's that's in the small print. And it's what the fuck can you accomplish in that time?
What can you do?
Insane. Ridiculous.
It's different, unrelated, but related in the sense of just how our system, we know our system's fucked, right? But I saw someone post one day that said, your business is open 9 to 5. I work 9 to 5. What have we done to ourselves? Yep. The first time I was laid off from Collider, and that was the first time I did not have a job in 20 years. And the amount of things I could get done before 11 that used to have to wait to Saturdays. I was like, we've done something bad. Our system's just wrong.
It's real bad. And as we all know, and this is something that my generation harps on a lot. I'm not sure if it was a thing back when you guys were out of high school and everything, watching Pulp Fiction and all everything. I just imagine that all 90s teenagers just watched Pulp Fiction. That's all.
Yeah, that was my first year of film school. Listening absolutely.
To Pavement and whatever.
Excuse me, Jim Blossom, sir. Toad the Wet Sprocket.
That's
Walk on the ocean.
So while y'all were doing that, were you guys already complaining about the structure of the week? Because our generation got on that quick, where we were like, wait a second. Saturday is the only real free day because Sunday is just mentally preparing for Monday.
Yeah. Oh, I was against it. I'll tell you what. I'm a revolutionary, Alden. I was against it even as a kid, where sick days happened, and I remember being obsessed with the idea that the world happens outside the walls of the school, and I just love that feeling. And then when I got to my senior year of high school, I did video production in 1993, 1994, and that was a 2-hour block, third and fourth period. And if you got to a certain level of it, you gotta pass, and we could leave the campus for 2 hours and go film.
Whoa.
Well, we filmed for about 20 minutes.
Sure.
And then we just went around town. And that to me was this is how it should be. This is how it should be. And I've carried that with me all the way to now, Alden.
That's fantastic. Our high school had a McDonald's directly down the road, it probably a 5-minute walk. And they used to, before we were seniors, we looked forward to being seniors because it was seniors get to walk away for lunch. They get to go to the McDonald's. Yeah. And then when we were juniors, they took it away because some seniors went into the woods and started blazing.
See, seniors, Goddamn seniors.
Ruined
What are
it
you
for
doing?
everybody.
Ruining for the generation coming up behind you.
I know. It's awful.
We have a lot to not get to today. Like this is one of those shows where we're going to go all over the place. I do feel as though we should address some news. And yeah, we have Daryl Hall on our thumbnail. We're going to talk about Daryl Hall, just anger and everything. And 898 Friends always also asking the important question of who's Hall. Look up Hall & Oates, 898 for M. Brady, one of the great rock bands of our time, though never my favorite. But they got those songs that I love. The type of band where you're like, I don't really like Hall & Oates, and you hear a song, and you're like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's that. When you see a headline like this, House Budget Committee rejects Trump agenda bill, a major setback for GOP leaders. What's your gut reaction, knowing that, hey, they might work it out in a week from now, we might have this bill passed and Medicaid cut and all this kind of stuff. My reaction to tease it is like, good. I don't care if it's a roadblock or a spike strip on a car that's speeding down the road, even if the car gets to the destination. I like when he's tripped up.
Yeah, I'm very much of a similar mind of like, whether it's completely dismantling the GOP apparatus or just like tying like their shoelaces together and causing a minor inconvenience. I am there for all of it. It could be anything from things I won't say here on YouTube, even though I think I dropped an F-bomb within the first 3 minutes. So I got to get better about that, y'all. I got to get better about that. Hold me accountable. Everybody. But cataclysmic stuff, Free Luigi, all the way down to things like, we minor inconvenienced them. Mm-hmm. It all counts. Because you got to keep these are like fundamentally stupid human beings. So if you can tie them up, I mean, that's been the story of this second administration so far, is they had to turn on the courts because they realized we're going to lose every case. Mm-hmm. And so, tie them up, cause it all to get backlogged, and might as well.
Yeah, no, and I got to be honest, I don't even look too deep into this because my thought is, well, they're going to revote in a week or whatever and everything like that, and this has happened before and it passes. Yeah. But I don't like to accidentally form allies with politicians I despise, like Chip Roy, representing Texas, expressed firm opposition, stating the bill falls profoundly short and warning reforms are required or he will withhold support. Because usually if you dig in deeper, you're like, yeah, Chip Roy's on our side. Then he's like, that bill did not have enough executions in it.
For sure. No, Chip Roy, I just don't trust him on name alone. That just sounds like so. Maybe it's Succession, like triggering me because the family are the Roys, and I just conditioned now to not trust that last name.
Yes.
But
like Ken Plume says, the GOP members rejected because it didn't cut Medicaid enough. It's like it's always something like that. So that's why for this one I just stick on the headlines, where I'm like, all right, we got one more week of them bumblefucking their way through it. There you go. I said it. We're even on.
A Joseph D says he's an ass. Well,
he's
there
an ass.
It is. The word on Chip Roy is that he is an ass. We got that.
He also looks. He has the bald head, goatee look, but not like I don't know. Dare I say a cool Stone Cold Steve Austin way. He looks like the villain from Command and Conquer 2: Red Alert, and it's just
he has the John Fetterman. John Fetterman has that as well.
Well, John doesn't know what he has. Let's be honest.
I know. Well, there was that news piece. It kind of got buried under like the new pope and like a bunch of other things, but that like Fetterman, all the leaks about him having outbursts and basically equating to why don't they like me type, like slamming the desk and all that shit, and all his aides saying that he's only concerned with a future presidential bid. And I'm like, maybe he's going to work himself up enough that he has another stroke, and then his original personality will come back. And then we could just be like, oh, heel John Fetterman was just a side effect.
Alden, it's just like my kitchen stove, which one day we lost power, and when it came back on, the clock just moves in 15-minute increments constantly, 24 hours a day, and we couldn't fix it. And then another day the power went out, it came back, and it was fixed. Is that what you're saying?
That's why I think we just got to shake the Fetterman a little bit, reset, restore to factory settings. He's a monster, and he's definitely we moved past him very quickly. So it's one of those weeks where we have a headline. We're going to talk about Daryl Hall and use him. We're going to use Daryl Hall as a metaphor for humanity, which I'm very excited to do. But also, or not a metaphor because he is part of humanity. A microcosm is the word I'm looking for.
Yes, microcosm.
Everybody, microcosm is the word of the day. Since they want to cut PBS and kill Sesame Street, we're gonna do their job here. Any Muppets that are out of a job are welcome to come on anytime, because I know there was that Elmo LinkedIn post that Steve and I talked about on Blathering Backstage.
Yeah.
That Elmo was on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
Needing work.
He won't get it there. He won't find it there.
No, Elmo's gonna train AI models. It's a hellhole.
So I signed up for one of those jobs. I'll confess, I signed up for one of those because I had nothing else to do, and I got hired eventually. Yeah. It took like 3 months, and then nothing, and then nothing. It's like a scam, and all of a sudden I got 40. I'm not kidding, 49 emails like an hour. You're on all these jobs. It's so, and like I said, I've admitted publicly I use AI for a lot of things now. It's creepy, weird. I don't know what's going on there, and it didn't lead to any money. And those are the only jobs available. We're screwed, Alden. Elmo and I are screwed.
We're pretty cooked. But eventually, hopefully, Ken or I will hit the lotto, and then we'll assemble a dream team.
I still play, buddy.
But even though the ticket price went up, because our Lotto Mega Millions, isn't it like the
Mega? But Powerball stayed the same.
Oh, okay.
Got to win Powerball. Right. Cool. Powerball's it.
So yeah. Ken Plume knows the Muppets personally, so he can be our liaison to hiring them.
I think this is a good idea. Imagine
but this is one of those
Sam
shows.
the Eagle on Anytime.
Oh,
he'd be a great political podcaster.
Sam the Eagle would be great. I also think that like the potential collaborations that we could facilitate, like imagine having like Gonzo and Mark Ellis like on the same stream, like just like the shenanigans that they could get into together. Yeah,
it'd be touching.
Mark, before we end Sesame Street, we need to get Mark on. I feel like he'd fit in.
Yeah, he would be. Who's your favorite Muppet in the Muppet verse? Who's your favorite Muppet?
Of all Muppets, I think don't you love those smart ass people that are like, my favorite's Yoda? It's like, shut up. It's like, that's not what we're doing.
That's like the people who are like, so Leia's a Disney princess now. Get out of here. Get out.
Yeah. Like, we get it. You understand corporate structure. Like,
that's next to wordplay on my mind.
Clever little fans.
Pedantic comedy.
Yeah, I think my favorite actual Muppet might be the Count. I'm not married to that answer, but I really love the Count. I think he's hilarious. Mm-hmm. I think as a child, I was just fascinated by the fact that like, because as a kid, you know that like vampires are like this like pretty demonstrably evil creature. And I just love that there was this one that was like, I'm into education. Like he was like, I've never hurt anyone. I'm exclusively here to do my thing. I count.
Yeah.
And I've always been entertained by that.
I love the worms that lived in Bert and Ernie's flower pot or their planter. That's always favorite of mine. But I really enjoyed Bert and Ernie, the first gay couple I was exposed to as a kid in the 70s. It opened up my mind. And I always loved Bert and Ernie and a good rubber ducky. I specifically, though, I do love Kermit. But I specifically love Kermit as the newsman on the Sesame Streets, where he'd do the news breaks, which I think led to my love of Weekend Update and my love of news-based comedy.
And Kermit has been on Update before, right? Or I might be misremembering that. I don't know. Hasn't he been on Update? Or
you talking about Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live? Kermit's been there?
Hasn't Kermit been on SNL? I know like some Muppet, like he had his original creations when it started.
Yeah,
but, has Kermit ever been on like properly SNL?
I turned to Ken Plume for that. I don't think so, but maybe someone as Kermit, Mikey Day as Kermit, maybe.
Yeah, maybe it was one of those things. Maybe it was like their parody of him or something like that.
8984 says I was too young for Kermit. Unfortunately, no, you're not. Laser discs and VHS tapes still exist, as does DVDs and Blu-rays.
Kermit is for right now. He's for the children. He's right now. He's eternal. Longest running. You could make an argument that he is one of the longest running and most successful entertainers. Like
absolutely,
and he is like never like some people peak. Kermit hit his peak and stayed there, and it just kept going and going and going. Andy, a bunch of Muppets have been on Update. Seth Meyers hosted it for years.
Jimmy Fallon.
Kermit has appeared, but not on Update. Okay.
Okay.
Where does Fozzie Bear rank amongst the stand-ups in history?
One of the greatest. Also, horrible wordplay and pun tree going on there. No, I love Fozzie too as well. Which is weird. I know I don't like puns and wordplay and pedantic comedy, but like that moment in the Muppet movie where they're like, Kermit and Fozzie are like looking at the map and like take the fork in the road or at the fork in the road to go right or whatever it is, and there's an actual literal fork in the road. As a kid, I fell off my chair laughing, Alden. I thought it was the greatest thing ever, and I just love Kermit and Fozzie because of that. Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. That is up there in terms of like puns. That is up there with the I'm a locksmith and I'm a locksmith. Like that's that level of like the joke is right there. It's beautiful. I also want to shout out. I mean, there's a couple. I mean, people are giving theirs in the comments. I should be remiss if I didn't bring up our very own Animal. Bringing up Animal. Maddie Gunner says, "Animal, the goat, no close second, the best." Hey, that's like the most fitting thing of all time.
Maddie is our animal. Maddie is our animal.
Eli says, "Beaker." I'm loving these choices. Ken Bloom says he can book. Yeah, okay, we're booking here. Okay, you can get Harry Monster and Telly for a roundtable. All right. I'm in for that.
I love that.
Kermit's 70 now. Yes, indeed.
Can we get on one of those roundtable interviews where it's like Kermit and Waldorf, just one of them, and you and 9 other podcasts get to ask one question each, and can we get on those roundtables? Where we're like, Kermit, could you please talk about the thematic reasons behind your journey in Great Muppets Caper? And other people be like, if you were a dog, what would you bark?
Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, like I know I would go in there and be like, when you wrote the Rainbow Connection, Kermit. And then everybody else, like, what if you weren't a frog? What kind of frog are you?
If you could take one prop, what would it be?
Incredible.
I got salty the other day, Alden, on that Andor live stream. Did you watch that Andor live stream?
I know that you were in the comments trying to educate, or not trying to educate, but trying to elevate, I should say.
And by the way, I love Ash Crossan and like Tony Garoy, Degaluda, and all their guests. But I was in the chat asking the most complicated professorial Force Center questions just to see how bad I could be ignored. The answer is completely. While they chose other random questions about if you could be a lightsaber, what lightsaber be you? Like it's just. All right. See, now I'm our thumbnail, Alden. I'm angry at nothing.
I do want to say, just because it would be remiss, we did not mention Miss Piggy yet. And Miss Piggy, I think the other day on Amy Poehler, she has her new podcast, or it's not new anymore, but her podcast, Good Hang. Or was it on Good Hang or was it on Bo and Yang's show? Either way, they were talking. And
Las Culturistas.
Very entertaining. I enjoy listening to that. And she talked about how Miss Piggy was like an early influence on her, and I never thought about it in those terms of like, women in comedy and like how important she would have been.
Yeah,
and and she's hilarious, and she's the only person who gives Scrooge the smoke in Muppets Christmas Carol. On sight, she's yelling at him. It's amazing.
I love that. Love Miss Piggy. Love them all. Love the Muppets.
Molly's here saying they only take the softball questions. Of course, referring to our Muppets press junket. No other press junkets.
Yes.
Molly
referring to. Exactly.
Molly, who's your favorite Muppet? Before we move on, put it in the comments.
All right.
I'm glad we did this.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did this because the Muppets, as Ken Plume will agree, under-discussed, underappreciated, and just because Bob Iger, I've been told by Muppets fans that Bob Iger doesn't like them. I don't know if that's a conspiracy. I don't know if that's a thing. I've been told by my friend Connor, who's a diehard Muppets guy. He said, and Ken Plume can provide more context, I'm sure, that Iger sees the Muppets as a thing he has to deal with because it came from the previous regimes. It came from the Eisner regime, and that he doesn't like. He kind of resents that it's not a thing he maybe would have picked, and it's like, all right, well, sorry, but like, fucking tough. Like, deal with it. Like, what do you like? I mean, do something.
That seems like a Chapek problem, but I could see that. That connecting to any corporate. They're hard to do.
Businessman, yeah.
I have suggested, nay, demanded for years that Ken Plume launch a YouTube channel just based on Muppet history and look-backs. He won't do it. He just won't do it.
Yeah,
I've fought him so many times on this.
Let's put a pin in this because Plume says, "Don't drag me out unless you truly want to." Plume's like, "Don't activate me." He's like Bruce Banner right now in the comments. Let's do a Muppet special later, Plume. We'll talk about it. We'll change this color scheme from purple, black, and white to like green, black, and white or something. We'll make it cute.
Okay.
But this is one of those shows where I took notes throughout the week on things that I feel like bringing up, and Ken has not seen those. And generally, those tend to be pretty funny because I don't put things in the notes that I think that Ken won't have anything to say about. That's just having good trust. Okay. And Ken shockingly decides that I should just be allowed to say whatever I want online.
I mean, I give you the trust. I'm not saying you should say everything, but I give you the trust.
No, and I don't. Oh boy, if y'all want some of those off-air conversations, just pay us a little bit. We will not be taking any and/or questions unless you give $5 or more. That's going to be my.
That's fair. That's fair.
We're putting a Star Wars tariff.
Just released a 2.5-hour Andor review last night. Like I've had my Andor fill. Yeah, not the show. I'm probably going to rewatch the final episode after this with lunch. But
yeah, I've rewatched episode 10 twice since then. But before we move on, I gotta point this out.
I've seen it 3 times, Alden. I'm the biggest Star Wars fan around.
Oh, you're so much smarter than me. I also love Fozzie Bear, and how his fur looked like a chicken nugget. That is one of the most childhood specific observations that I've heard in a while. Like that is such like a child brain thing, right? Like how the moon looks like cheese. Like I've never thought about Fozzie looking like a chicken nugget, but he does. He looks like a McNugget specifically.
McNugget,
kind of the type of texture. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So the first thing I wrote down is that Daryl Hall is mad about yacht rock, and I'm going to he's mad about a lot of things, honestly, but I'm going to set the tone by reading an excerpt from the article that I sent you about this. And I just thought this was funny because you and I both have our career origins in rock radio, and we've been down this path, and we both love rock music in many different forms. And so he said, "This is something I don't understand. First of all, yacht rock was a fucking joke by 2 jerk-offs in California, and suddenly it became a genre," he told the Broken Record podcast. "I don't even understand it. I never understood it. Hall's irritation ostensibly stems from the haphazard criteria that has come to define yacht rock as we know it. It's just R&B with maybe some jazz in there," he explained. "It's mellow R&B. It's smooth R&B. I don't see what the yacht part is." He was asked about Hall & Oates being included in the yacht rock playlist that often featured Toto, Steely Dan, and anything Michael McDonald touches. "People misjudged us because they couldn't label us. They always came up with all this crap, soft rock, yacht rock, and all this other nonsense. And none of it really describes anything that I do." Yeah, okay, but what does Oates think? So I found that to be so just like delightful because it falls into a category of like, sometimes when old rockers open their mouths, I brace myself for the most ignorant and hurtful thing that I've ever heard. And I love that Oates is not, Hall's not mad about trans people. Hall's not mad about, women of color. Hall's not mad about, Democrats. Hall specifically has saved all of his ire for 2 things. 1, Oates, and 2, yacht rock. Why are you mad? That's played for you. Who cares?
Of which he is not part of. He is Hall & Oates.
I don't think anyone said that. Yeah. No one has ever put them honestly. Like I know it says they're on playlists, but like
they get confused. The music style is similar, the genre, the era, everything's similar. They address that in the yacht rock doc. But they are on what is it? Not Rock, which is the website Yacht or Not. Like they're listed as they're from Philly. They're like not from Yacht Rock is mostly Southern California studio musicians from the 70s forming their bands. I understand the angst towards genre and genre defining labels or label genres that label you and define you and confine you. I can understand that. But it's just hilarious because at this point, what are you mad about? It's you could shut up about it and be like Steve Lukather of Toto and write it into a new wave of success in your older years. Like you could be like, yeah, you know what? I am yacht rock. Give me my boat shoes, and more concerts would sell out. Instead, you got to defiantly shake your fist at the yacht rock cloud.
Yeah.
And you're gonna lose. This is why Oates and him. This is why they suit each other.
Yeah, Eli, who has music in his literal education, is a music man himself. They are yacht adjacent. I love the more specific it gets, the funnier it is. We should have like yacht should be expanded out into like this is a new wave yacht. This is French yacht. this is yacht core.
Yeah.
This is Metal Yacht. Like it
Metal Yacht.
just to make y'all
Okay.
just to make Hall angry.
You've stumbled onto what I want Maddie Gunner's next album to be. Metal Yacht. That's what I want. Yacht Core is good. That's and Maddie Gunner's right. Anytime Johnny Rotten says something, immediately my reaction is, here we go again. Yeah, it is amazing the amount of old rockers. I was digging up, I was trying to see some more of Daryl Hall's greatest hits. And back in 2016, he fought against cultural appropriation and some of the accusations about his music and everything. And his answer was, "Shut the boop up." Like this has been him for a while, forever.
Yeah, and it's like you told me this, and you were like, "Yeah, he's a notorious asshole," and I wasn't as familiar with his like personal takes, and it surprised me because Hall & Oates to me is associated with general joy and feeling good and grooving and it's easy listening, and like Hall & Oates, like I understand because like my mom is a big Hall & Oates fan, so it's like hearing her talk about it, like she's like, oh yeah, that was like party music, like that was like really, it was
Party
cool
music, yeah.
cool stuff. She's like, we used to throw that on and dance, but like by the time it trickles down to us, Hall & Oates to my generation is what you hear after you have sex with Zooey Deschanel. Like that's and one of the greatest needle drops of all time.
Yeah,
it is truly one of the greatest musical uses in a film ever. He sees Harrison Ford, he's dancing. That's what Hall & Oates is to me. It's joy. Yeah. So to know that this guy is just so bitter, so bitter,
can't bring anyone joy. Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt dancing down a street. Like, come on, man. The
delta between what you make and who you are is so wide.
Yeah. It's also been, it is at times disheartening where some of these legends who are all still going. That's what the difference is, I think, between other eras. Like, you didn't have as many, I'm sure you did. In the 1970s, you didn't have as many people who had been popular in 1930 playing music still, sold out stadiums, right? Similar to IP continuing and not going away. And we have comic book movies and Star Wars and everything. We're in that era now, but it is disheartening that all these legends, as they get older and they're still going, they are still boomers and they still have all these boomer traits. You know, it's like Carlos Santana coming out as anti-trans on stage and just like, just shut up and play Black Magic Woman, man.
Yeah, like you hate
you're near the finish line, man.
Yeah, like it's like shut up and dribble gets used when like, you know, someone has something real to say in like the NBA, but it's like I want to like steal shut up and dribble and be like, shut up and play, please. Shut up and play. It's like Paul Stanley had some dumbass take about like I don't know if it was trans-specific. I have to look it up, but it's just like, you of all people need to shut the fuck up when it comes to like what the queer community does or doesn't do, because you have profited so much from drag. You have profited so much from kink. You have profited so like get the fuck like it's wild.
And to be clear, it's not like me saying stay in your lane and everything. Like you're entitled to, but like it's just like you know what you're about to do, and you know that it's just. You know, just shut up. Just you're almost done, man. You've almost punched your ticket out with a nice legacy. Don't get on stage and clap in yourself or Van Morrison yourself. Like, don't.
For sure. Don't Morrissey yourself. Don't like it is. You know, like sometimes people ask me, and I guess I'm gonna briefly mention a Star Wars adjacent thing, but like I've had friends ask me, and the context for this is that as I mentioned before on the show, I have a Harry Potter tattoo. If anyone wants to give me the money to cover it up, great. I'm working on it. But I have a Harry Potter tattoo, and that has been, you know, I got it when I was 18, and now it's something of an albatross, and I don't want it to be representative of me. And I also have Star Wars tattoos on my other arm. And my friend Gabe was like, aren't you at all concerned that the same thing will happen? And I'm like, I'm not, because George was tight with like people like Carrie Fisher. Like if there was shit about George, it'd be out. Like I'm very confident in that. And
George's misstep. Yeah. George's missteps are in those other way, a comment that's too, unregulated, the interview, the white slavers comment, and then, some of the tropey kind of characterizations that have been throughout his stuff that I think are more indicative of the era, not necessarily a mindset, but not that they're above criticism. I think we're safe at this point because he just turned 81 and dude don't care. He says what he wants to say. So indeed. I think we're pretty safe with George at this point.
I love this too. Something happened in the comments where we mentioned Yacht Rock and Dorina showed up. It is her bat signal. Hello,
Is it?
Dorina. I'm sorry you had to arrive at a moment of us raging about old men. Although I guess
she's been raging about old men.
If you enjoy music, that's just part of it. Yeah. So that's just my thing with Hall. It's just like, buddy, why? And I honestly, to connect to an earlier thing, we did say it's annoying when you ask someone what their favorite Muppet is and they try to get cute and answer like Yoda or something. But there is a version of that with Hall and Oates that I like, and that's when people put Maneater on their Halloween playlists. That is the kind of clever cute I can get behind.
That's the clever cute Alden stands for.
I enjoy that. If I'm at a Halloween party and Maneater comes on, I know that whoever threw that party definitely fucks. I know that they do.
Is that true? Is that what these kids are saying these days? You kids and your thirstiness. You're thirsty. You're so thirsty.
He fucks. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I've come around on that style of not just yacht rock. Josh McCouga just made me appreciate yacht rock in a way I hadn't before. But there was just something about that era, the late 70s and the early 80s. It still doesn't 100% sit well with me. But I do enjoy a good Toto song a lot more than I used to. Like, I'm there for it. Because you know why? The world's burning. Why not just flip on some Toto and enjoy it for a second?
You know what my favorite Toto song is?
What's that?
Victory Celebration from Return of the Jedi.
Anyway.
Okay. Get out of here.
All right, so that's basically all I have to say about Hall. It's just like, man, relax. Just relax, Hall. And you know what?
Just relax, man.
In the same way that all Muppets that are being ousted by Trump are welcome on Anytime, I'm going to directly into the camera here. Daryl Hall, come on the show. Let's talk about this. I'm not going to invite Oates. I would not do that to you. This is not that kind of bit. Come on the show. Let's talk about that time that you performed with CeeLo Green that everybody likes on YouTube at the Hall's house. That's cool. You know, we could talk about
CeeLo Green. You know?
Yeah. Maybe actually we don't talk about CeeLo Green. Maybe we won't. But let's talk about when you were on the American Idol season 11 finale. I can't remember.
Okay.
You guys did that little medley with all the male contestants. I watched. I saw it.
You watched. Alden watched.
You know?
Alden
anyway.
watched. Okay. Dorina says, I recommend meditating to sailing. Takes me away to where I'm going. I'll try that.
Svetnik says Williams wasn't in Toto when Return of the Jedi was being made, but was he in Toto when they special editioned that song in? That's my question.
Maybe. Yeah, John Williams' son eventually joins Toto. Yeah, that's right. He's not there during the heyday. Which,
I
was
love
confusing for a while.
This comment from Plume: if you invite Hall, Oates will be the one who shows up.
That's probably true.
Yep. Anyway, so
all right. So what else is on your list?
The other thing that
your kiss is on my list. Because your kiss is
welcome to the karaoke special. The other thing I wrote about is something that I put on Blue Sky, and I got marginal support. But being the attention needy little guy that I am, I'm going to bring it up again. Why? It didn't get the play that I wanted there, so I'm going to force it on here. I hate the fucking term manosphere, man. I hate it.
The
manosphere. The manosphere is the term that is being used to describe the entire like toxic masculine right wing apparatus. So it's like everything from Rogan on down to like insert Star Wars YouTuber here,
Theo Vaughn or someone.
Yeah,
with theory
all of that is the manosphere, and it's being used in like real like journalistic academic context now. And I know we need a term, but it's just like why do we need to make it cute? Like why do we need to have like a stupid little like the manosphere? Like, don't you think they would enjoy that? Like, don't you think they would enjoy having a little sphere named after man?
The great thing is I have no take on this either way, Alden. I could be swayed and give you all the credit on this one here. So it's too cute.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the end of your thought. It's too cute.
Oh no, sorry. I was reading Steve's comment. I thought you were going to say something about it being too cute. Yeah, no, the kids are obsessed with it. Middle school. Yeah, no, they're rattled. Asshole sphere, the Mojo Dojo Casa house. That is what it is. Yeah. It is the Mojo Dojo.
Yeah, no, I totally get what it is. So yeah, but you know, this is the whole thing. The Brat Pack, for example, becomes this one-off thing in a interview that becomes this defining thing that apparently ruined Andrew McCarthy's life. So I'm here. I'm here with you. Hit me. Sell me on this here.
I just think that it's a stupid, goofy term to describe stupid, goofy people. And I'm just generally against stupid, goofy terms in general. I said this to you off air about something else, but like I'm very into titles, how titles sound. I'm very into labels, how labels sound. All of Dorina's suggestions are better.
Loser sphere, mommy issues sphere, the get therapy sphere.
Yeah, it's like if we're talking about them and we're naming them, why did we give them something that sounds like, you know, it's what like Magneto would be piloting, like, you know, from the moon. Like it's just
almost sounds something that they would have coined themselves. Like they could easily own it.
Welcome to the manosphere. Like it's just like
yeah. That should be a podcast. That's probably going to be if it isn't already. Now I'm not asking. I'm not putting you on spots for options. You know, that doesn't matter to me at this point. But yeah, what would you want it to be more scientific, clinical,
or just more direct? Like people hear manosphere and they either don't know what it is or they just associate it with like what's wrong with a man. Like there might be there. It doesn't get the point across. Like why not? I agree if you want to be cute, like why not grifter sphere?
That's better. I agree with that because I don't want to sound like I'm suddenly a men's rights activist, but I'm sometimes like, hey, like let's not. You don't need to tear down positive masculinity or masculinity built on love or just me being who I am, a dude who likes sports and wears a beanie. Like, I know I have resting Republican podcaster face. I get it. But I have a little bit of that take that you got, like at 2%. Like, it's not a major concern for me. I'm not going to Daryl Hall it. But, like, I think you're right. You need to be somewhat careful. Broad strokes could be dangerous in this time. Because you might just push more. I know a lot of guys that have been pushed that way because of, what, am I under attack? No, you're not under attack, Ken from Barbie. But, like, you know, I get you. Yeah. I get you. I can see the point.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. Just something that's something I jotted down. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. I was just like, this is dumb.
I like this.
And I this is also just an Alden thing. Like I have this with like I hate the term Mandoverse. I've conceded that we're gonna use it. Like,
we use it on Force Center, but it's the same. It's the same way. I have no other.
Yeah.
It's just shorthand to get through a podcast.
Sure. No, totally. You know, it's speaking of nerd things and things that are just dumb that have been pissing me off. This is gonna be that time where I'm very careful to not name specific people. I understand. This is the caveats portion. I understand that what I'm about to say is a result of the media landscape that we live in. We both work in it. We know how this is. We have friends that work on it at very prominent levels. They got to get their clicks. It's not necessarily their fault. Editorial, money, ads, etc. I hope that's enough of a caveat. Stop trying to catch actors in lies and then thinking you're fucking clever for it. That's starting to really piss me off. And it's like there's one podcast that shall remain nameless, but you can figure it out if you put two and two together, that the person that hosts it gets a lot of big names and will get them like X amount of months before a big movie, and we'll try to catch them about like, not with leaks, but we'll just be like, are you playing this comic book character? And then obviously they can't say, and then they are, and then this person gets them back on the show and will be like, all right, I'm going to show you, you know, I saw your face. I saw how you had to cover it up. Like I saw that media training. I saw the way that you lied to me. You lied to me, buddy. I know you did. I know you had to. I hear things. And it's just like, could you ask a fucking question? Like, could you do your job? Is that hard? Could you like try to be a journalist? That's when I am almost begging for a simple softball. You know, it's like, it can get worse than the softballs. It's like, you know, and that's a thing too. Like I know you've been down this road in a previous office of like, well, that actor's lying. Like, why are they lying? Why are they? Because it's not their fucking job to like go out there and explain story. Like ask like there was a Daisy Ridley thing recently where somebody asked her, what do you think is a under discussed element of the sequels? And it honestly broke my heart. You know, she's very nice about it, but she goes, probably performance, like, you know, like the stuff we do and like the choices that we make. And I was like, what? Like the fact that she has to say that is an indictment. Like, I'm an actress and you haven't asked me in a decade of playing this role really about acting. And she's right.
If you could wear a lightsaber, would you be?
Yeah. But I'll take that even over this, like, so are you, you know, like, and they do that with everybody. It's like Marvel, DC, Star Wars. Like, like, you have run in the same circles here and there as like Katie Sackhoff. Like, imagine if I interviewed her right now and I was like,
I don't run anymore.
are you? It's like, I stroll. I mosey. But it's like, yeah, like what if I was like, are you in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? And then she'd be like, I don't know, I haven't. And then I got her the next year, and I was like, remember when you lied to me? I knew. I knew that you. Like, it's like, get out of here, man. Like, you're like, that's so fucking hacky. It's like, why don't you pick up some hot wings and at least try to get a clip? It's like I can't have peace.
Yes.
It's either a moronic gimmick that carries the interview,
have peace,
or dipshit stuff like that.
Look, okay. This is great. You're dangerous. You're dangerous because you're getting me close. You're so close to pulling my string on just talking about the last 10 years.
I know.
Last 10 years of my career, which I'm thankful for. And I'm glad to be part of the punditry world. And I love talking 2.5 hours on Star Wars. And I love going deep into themes. And I love going into, hey, I think they kind of did Bale dirty, but I also think there was a good conversation to have about it. I love that shit. But what you're talking about is truly the clippable, the clip. How should we? The cliposphere. Mm-hmm. It is going for that moment. It is focusing on the behind the scenes shit, the reshoots. And Joseph said this eloquently the other day on Force Center I think sometimes it's important to get the context and to hear from the creators and to ask Daisy Ridley, what were your choices here and everything like that. You and I were talking about some stuff off air, but like there's some thoughts on Saw versus Luthen, and it's like, did you ever just ask Forrest Whitaker about the character created, or are you just worried about your podcast thoughts on it? And I'm not talking about terms of interview, just like think of it in a bigger scale. But yes, I don't even blame all the folks. But that's the name of the game, right? The survival.
Right. And it's also something that I observed like up close in Japan at Star Wars Celebration on the clips of like the junket area. Like Jon Favreau, and again, this person,
this is what producer Steve is. Producer Steve, the Gotcha Sphere.
Gotcha Sphere is very good. Somebody was interviewing Favreau, asks him about the runtime for a movie that's a year away. And then Favreau is like, yeah, we're still working. Like, I'm not sure. It's an adventure film. He gave a normal answer. And the guy keeps fucking pressing him for it. And is like, oh, so what? Like, I'm hearing like 2 hours. And it's like, no, you're not hearing anything. It's like, you're not hearing anything because you're not asking a question that is worth talking about. And what that comes from is reverse engineering the questions you ask from the headline you want. That means you went into that knowing, I got to run a runtime article. And so to get that runtime article
for $20 from the crooks at Valnet, this is indicative of so much more. Which is why I don't necessarily blame all individuals. Some of them are just surviving and playing the game, and I get that, which is not a defense of it, but just an understanding of it. Because again, part of it, I had to be on reaction videos at the old job, and I would say no, please don't, I don't, and I'd have to go on it and then take heat from some dipshits in Wisconsin with pizza rolls. And it's all a mess, but yeah, it is always, it's a focus on everything but the art. And this was started to celebrate the art when this stuff started to emerge. And I do give a lot of credit to Maria Menounos and the AfterBuzz Network, one of the first things to just kind of make it a thing. There's other firsts, and they're not the first, but that was like the first time I was like, this is a genre. I do give them credit for it. It was part of that stuff. But then it just the reason the Rogue One reshoots come up a lot is because that was the first time it was like, ooh, tantalizing topic for today's movie talk, Rogue One reshoots. And it was, we'll never know the true story. We'll never know how little or how much Gareth was involved with, unless you get Gary Whitta drunk on a stream, maybe. And we'll never find that out. And it's like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is what's on screen. Yeah. And we can turn it into sports talk radio. But I think it gets me frustrated when I think about pro wrestling. You've heard me before where it's like, I enjoy the world we're in now where everyone enjoys pro wrestling, but there's so many people who would never step foot in a locker room who throw terms around that they don't understand. And yet that's taken as gospel and it's just changed the business in a way that makes it less fun. But that's old man screaming at clouds at this point.
No, but you're right. And it has trickled down to this. Like, it just gets to the point where it's like that Daisy Ridley thing stuck with me, not just because, she is probably the closest thing we have to an angel on this planet, but like it is just like the fact that she is not asked about the very basic, like it's a really embarrassing state of affairs for what we do, you know. And Molly's right to bring it out. They like the TikTokers, and I remember on this show, an early episode of Anytime, we talked about Billie Eilish sort of getting caught being like, what the fuck are they doing here to the TikTokers at the whatever event she was at. And it's like, she's right, because none of them go up to her and be like, hey, you wrote this lyric, like where were you at when you wrote that? Hey, I thought it was really cool that you incorporated, you know, this type of sound in this. Like, I'm not asking you to plumb the depths of her soul. What I am asking you is to ask a musician about music, you know?
It's
very simple.
Especially we fought for years to, you know, stop asking, you know, female artists what they're wearing, or at least make that the first question and get deeper. And now it's like, as Andy points out, they say, asking Dame Judi Dench, can you balance this on your nose on the red carpet? Like, it's indicative of a bigger thing. But I feel your frustration, and I always want to embrace the new. You know me, I'm working with you. You're the new. I'm trying to embrace you.
And you chose the youngest guy that you know who was also an old man.
Oh yeah, I chose an 85-year-old locked at a 29-year-old Dua Lipa fan's body.
It's frustrating. And I will say, like,
it's frustrating because like if I go too far down the line, it's just like at the end of the day, I sound jealous because maybe I am, right? Because I'm struggling to put food on the table, and no one goes deeper than Force Center on understanding the themes of Star Wars and teaching people how to love Star Wars. No one goes deeper than us, and I can't put food on the table, but some of these other fucks can. And so at the end of the day, am I jealous? Yeah, I guess that's it. So I invalidate myself. And
I also think that, you know, like there is a thing of like, is it jealousy? Is it sour grapes? Is it whatever? Or is it just me looking at the landscape and being like, why does this have, you know, supposed value and this doesn't? And I think it's very easy sometimes for people to be like, well, you're just jealous. And it's just like, no, it's just that I know that if the landscape was what it maybe should be, I'd fucking mop the floor with this, you know? Like we could actually, because as you well know, whenever anybody really, really good, like actually does manage to break through, we all note it, you know? We all are like, whoa, that was really good. Wow. Like, you know?
Svetnik says jealousy gets a bad rap. Sounds like a very Luthen thing. Jealousy gets a bad rap. Be jealous. It's clarifying. Hold that jealousy.
The jealousy isn't here anymore. It's flown away.
Hold that jealousy till you know what to do with it. We fight.
Yeah, no, it's just frustrating, and I don't want to make it like a what I deserve, but what I am saying is that
I made it that because that's how I feel.
But I feel that too. But I also want to be like, even if I wasn't in this, I would still, like, before I was in this, I wanted a better quality of question. Now I'm in it and I want a better quality of question. If I left, I would still want a better quality of question. Like, I don't want it to seem entirely self-serving. And I also don't want it to seem like, you know, more of a fun, chill hosting style does not have its place. It absolutely does. But
that's a different,
Like, stop making it about your fucking little clips of like how insider you think you are.
It's this little thing right here has changed so much.
It has, you know. And if anybody watching this ends up getting access to Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni in the next year and has at any point been like, you know, why do I need to watch their action figure shows? Just hand me your opportunity because I'll handle it.
Oh, perfect.
I've got it. I'll write your questions.
I'm holding on the screen my cell phone cover footage there. What do you notice on here? What do you notice on there? For the audio listeners, it's my phone.
I notice an art piece from what looks like one of those baby action figure shows.
Yep.
That isn't as good as real Star Wars.
But the other thing you notice on here is it said it's 11:53 in the a.m. because I'm in the goddamn best time zone in the world. All right, carry on.
Mine says 2:53.
It's not 2:53.
It's 11:53. Good time zone.
It's 11:53.
Hey, check that out. Who's on my screen?
Superman and his dog Spot, whatever his dog's name is. I loved that trailer, Alden. I loved the full trailer that came out. I'm all in on this Superman.
Wasn't it awesome? Wasn't it just
I got emotional, Alden. Tears of a clown. Now, granted, I'm in an emotional state. My only friend right now is a squirrel that I did talk to for about 5 minutes this morning. If you all think I'm joking, you're very wrong.
Put a pin in that. We're gonna come back to the squirrels. We're gonna come back to the squirrels.
But I loved that trailer, man.
Superman trailer. You know what? Let's just react to it. Pull it up, Ken. Let's react. No, I'm kidding.
Let's react to it.
Let's react days later.
Here, I'll do it. I'll do it.
No joke. There was a day when the Avengers
Endgame cape
teaser trailer came out.
Yeah.
When the Avengers Endgame teaser came out, the SVP of programming at iHeart came to our office and said, "Hey, you guys are like nerdy. You know, you should start doing reaction videos for digital." And we did an Avengers Endgame trailer reaction, and we gave it to the digital PD, and he was like, "You're just sitting there," and I was like, "Yeah, Eric, I'm thinking."
Yeah.
I was like, and he's like,
"Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be." I was like, "No, I'm making a point." I was like, "Give this to them, and then hopefully this will go away." And sure as shit, it did. They did not ask for another one after that, because it's like, yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's the death of media literacy.
It's bad.
Darina says, "I want Ken to do reaction videos with Luthen at 7-Eleven." Okay, we could try that. That's an egg in a sandwich wrapped in plastic. You don't get to eat it till you know what to do with it. These sandwiches are everywhere.
This right here, this 6 centuries old. This
Tell
will
me.
be 6 centuries.
Tell me.
Yeah,
okay.
Superman trailer, great. Optimism, great. James Gunn, that's my boy. James Gunn, I wouldn't say he would fucking remember this, but like I will always remember it. He was the first person I ever interviewed in my career, because I won sweepstakes when I was 18 to interview him and the whole Guardians cast. And you bet your ass I asked good questions.
You bet your ass I did. Good questions are everywhere. I fight for the movies I'll never see. There's a movie theater in my soul. There's a movie theater in my soul. I know I'll never see it, Lonnie. Andy is saying they're called hoagies. Yeah, hoagies.
But are they called heroes?
No, they're not. They're called sandwiches.
I normally say sandwich. I say sub too.
Sandwiches.
Do you say sub?
No, I mean I go to Subway because I like yoga mats. But they're sandwiches. I'm gonna get a sandwich.
All right. What sticks out to you, Ken, as a non-comics? Not that you don't read comics, but like not a diehard of the big two. What sticks out to you about the trailer? And why is this the thing?
I did not grow up watching superhero stuff, reading superhero stuff. Just didn't. So I don't react to it as much as others, blah, blah, blah. But that's the context. Superman was like one of my least favorite superheroes. Like, what? He just saves the day? There's nothing interesting in that. He just saves the day. I like Batman. Batman, he does dark things. He's gritty. That was me for a long time. Watching that trailer, and I've talked to Mark Riley about this week, who has a Superman tattoo, and he said, look, man, 78 Superman was that. It was this. It was time, not unlike Star Wars. We have all this shit upon us now. Sometimes the heart and soul and the act of doing good and someone you can look to for help, who will be there for you, including a dog. It is sometimes the purity that we need in a complicated world. And yes, it's completely complicated. But Superman and what he stands for and historically where the character come from, I've always gotten that. I understand that. But I just think there's something pure and hopeful, a light in a dark time that works for me. And we can have the other conversations. We can have the Ender conversations. Ender is really good at working in the gray. Ender. Whereas New Hope is, and the others are really good at what we're talking about. And I think it struck a chord in me. Like, it got me emotional. And it's not, it's rather intentional that the youths are calling for Superman and the old folks are throwing cups at the back of his head. It's simple imagery, and I think that's what I was reacting to.
And I loved in this trailer, they so clearly, deeply understand already the dynamic between Lois and Clark, of Lois being pragmatic and having journalistic integrity, but also Lois is in the world that we're in, and Clark is in the world that we could be in. And they have love, but it's that thing of like, you went into a foreign nation, representing us, and he says, I was representing myself. I was representing good. And I'm like, that's it. It was a big thing in 2011. I'm sure you remember made national news that they wrote a storyline where Superman renounced his U.S. citizenship and became a citizen of the world or the universe or whatever, which he is. And I don't know if they'll go that far in this film, but I think that the globalist Kal-El and his dog, the dog is also a globalist. But the fact that it's there, like that means a lot, and I think that that's cool. It's definitely cool. And honestly, like, I'm not trying to be a hater. I don't make a point of like going online and talking about the media that doesn't speak to me. But in the simplest, kindest terms, the previous iteration was not for me, and I don't think that it served what we're dealing with. And I think that in a media analysis level, we are finally out of the post 9/11 reactionary phase. The Nolan Batman trilogy is very genius, but like it's full of that post 9/11 stuff. Snyder's Superman is full of post 9/11 stuff. It wasn't until like right now we're finally like, it's history now. We don't need to be constantly reacting to that. We're not in the shadow of it anymore. This feels like a Superman that is a sci-fi film, which is something that like we haven't actually had in a big way. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
I'm excited for it. I've decided I'm all in on it. I don't watch movies. And Jared, the Tide Pilot, is right. If anything happens to Crypto, we riot. I will also own that 10% of my emotional reaction to the trailer was me currently not having my dog in my life. And the void is so big that Crypto might have filled it, as well as the squirrel in my backyard.
Are you at all familiar with like what this take on Crypto is? Like in terms of
I almost know nothing about the Crypto the dog. I know that it existed.
Okay, so Crypto, still exists.
That teaser trailer when he comes running in the snow, I was like, he's got a dog. And Riley's like, he's Crypto, man. Crypto
the super dog. The cool thing is that this Crypto, down to the actual like performance capture, like body scan of how it looks, is James Gunn's dog Ozu, who is a rescue, who was like, when they got him, he was like feral and like wouldn't let people near him. And then while James was writing the movie, he was like, wait a second, that should be Crypto. So it is literally for the rescue dogs. And there we that'll go. Be very exciting. Now
I miss mine tremendously. So
there's that in your life, and that and there's the whole like you described. But with that, not to make light of it, but it is true. With that, there has been also another animal saga in your life. I know you've talked about it on Blathering. You and I texted about it. What is going on with you and your Disney Prince era in your yard? What is happening? Tell people that don't know.
Yeah. So long story short, a lot of tree squirrels that come into a lot of Burbank tree squirrels. And look, technically you're not supposed to feed them. Like I think even legally you're not supposed to feed the wildlife. And like any wild animal, probably have diseases just riddled all over them. But nuts to that. I am alone in my house. I wake up every day and stare at a void. One day, this whole thing happened. We have feral cats in the neighborhood that take to our yard, and I don't like cats. I like cats, but I'm not a cat person. I'm also allergic to cats. And I chase these cats out every day. And one day we noticed it was like waiting on something, and it was a squirrel in a tree. And I was like, the hell you will. And I scared the cat away. And we realized that the squirrel had buried some nuts in the ground and was protecting his stash. And cat away, and the squirrel buried the nuts. And so we were kind of like, well, wait, we got some nuts. We're cleaning out the fridge. Let's put some nuts out there. And the squirrel was like, hot damn, thanks. So as people do with squirrels, this is not new. I'm not the first person. Squirrels are smart. They're like, hey, you human, you keep giving me some kind of food, we're going to form a relationship. So that's what happened. By the third day, I was getting him used to him. By the fourth or fifth day, he was taking unsalted peanuts in the shell from my hand. And now he knows me. He recognizes me. The other day, he thought I was in my garage. I have a glass door in the back of the garage because I was coming in and out of there. Alden, he was looking into the goddamn garage because he thought I was in there. I come out and he does that, like that hamster meme or whatever it is from the old internet. He does that. Yeah. He goes, oh, you're there. And he comes walking over to me and he just like waits for food. I give him food. So then he was gone for 2 days and something was up. And I had an injured crow in my yard. Now, I don't love crows. Crows do some bad things. But I looked this crow in the eyes and I tried my best to protect it. I couldn't get any animal control people to come out. They would have just probably ripped its neck off anyways. Happy to report I don't know if the the crow survived,
Okay.
but I gave it a little bit of water. I used a clothespin and a cut of red Solo cup, and I made like a little water dish, and I put some nuts out there because crows like nuts too. And it just couldn't fly, but it wasn't like structurally damaged. It was like something, and I think it got into a fight. There was a dead crow in the center of the street. Something happened. And the other crows for 2 days, Alden, like Game of Thrones and Sam and Gilly escaping, were like around me. Anytime I stepped out, 9 crows were like above me, like, and it turns out that crow had got trapped in a bucket, and I saved it from its bucket. I woke up this morning, the crow's gone.
Wow.
No signs of struggle, damage, or feathers. It's just gone. We do have coyotes. We do have cats. But the last time this happened, we had a sick crow about a year ago. It did not survive the night, and I could tell because there was a goddamn murder scene in my front yard every morning.
Okay.
Not present today. I think the crow skipped on down the road, and in my heart, the crow is safe. And then today, Squirrely came back, and me and Squirrely had breakfast together.
So the squirrel's name is Squirrely.
I called it Squirrely, and there's 2 other squirrels, so it's Squirrely and the Mumps.
Squirrely
They're
and
a
Mumps.
folk rock band.
I love that. I love it. That honestly could be. You know what? We have to delete this stream because that could be a children's book enterprise, and that could be how we get out of the hole that we're in by writing Squirrely and the Mumps.
And I know there's 3 because at one point there was 3 squirrels in the yard. There's 2. They eat the food I put out there, but they run away from me. The lead guy, who is the chubbiest of the bunch because he's eating like a goddamn king, literally waits for me. And today he was in a tree, climbing up the tree. I came out, he stopped, he did the turn on me again, got down to the tree, walked up to me, Alden, and waited for a peanut.
Wow. This has been a really like fun little like side quest arc for you.
I'm Snow White. I need this. I'm not even lying. People, you think I'm lying for making it up for a podcast? I talked to him this morning.
No, I believe. No, I want everybody to know. I've seen footage of Squirrely. Yes. I've seen the footage. Yes. I've seen Squirrely approach on the table, accepting his gifts. So if the squirrels and the crows are all backing you, like, does that mean you get to be like the Pope of Burbank? Like, is there something that comes with this? Like,
yeah. I as I've said before, my cousin by marriage is the mayor of Burbank, so I'm going to see you in a couple weeks. I'm going to ask, hey, Pope of Burbank, is that spot open? Yeah, I'll give these credentials and I'll see what happens.
Yeah, the creatures are backing you. I think that morally, that's a good sign. Like, if Star Wars has taught us anything, when the fauna start like backing your play, then generally speaking, it means that you're right. You know, it's like you don't want big tech backing you because that's never good.
Also indicative of just being alone in this house now. Like I got a friend maybe coming over tonight, and I texted him. I was just like, I need to see a human. Please come over. just have a drink.
And so that's why I bought a plane ticket, y'all.
Alden's coming over today. I do get to go to a party tomorrow. I don't know if she's still in chat. I get to see Darina tomorrow.
Oh, good.
And about 70 other people, but I get to see Darina.
It's 70 other people. It suddenly went from like what an intimate little hang to never mind.
Yeah, no, it's a big birthday party. It's a 5-0 birthday party for our pal Mark Riley. So a lot of people showed up. A lot of people showed up. Yeah. But I'm excited to see about 5% of the audience.
That's cool. Darina, since you're still here, hell yeah. Does in any like folkloric sense or like witchy sense, does Ken's encounters with the crows, like, does that mean anything for him, you think? Is there any like
I want to know
symbolism that we should be looking for? Darina says she's only going because of you. That's nice.
I asked for the guest list, and there's about 10 I don't want to interact with, and then I saw the positives, and I was like, I'm gonna find a corner, Darina, Frank, and I, because Frank better goddamn go, Darina, and we're just gonna cop a squat and have a good time. Yeah,
interesting.
Andy asks if you could be a lightsaber, which lightsaber would you be? I'd be a green one. But his real question was, quick thoughts on CM Pope. We did talk about the Pope last week.
Yeah, we talked about the Pope a little bit. I think that, well, first of all, to address their first question, I would be Gunju's lightsaber if you were, to be more specific. I would want to be Dooku's lightsaber, but I don't think I have that kind of steez.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think joke aside, CM Pope. I mean, like, in as much as hold on. Update. Crows are the most intelligent birds and will either interact with you because they respect you or they'll fuck you up if you deserve it. It's respect.
This one, I couldn't understand. I feel bad because I kept trying to shoo him away. At one point, used like my hose to like kind of get the one crow was on the corner of my neighbor's house.
You sent your hose after the crow?
Yeah, because I was.
How many of them?
I thought they were going after the squirrels, and I got to protect Squirrely.
I made a hose
and
joke.
This one crow kept going to the edge of my neighbor's house that kind of leans over into my yard and was not flying away when I came out. He was looking me in the eye and squawking. He was telling me, my buddy, possibly my mate, is in this bucket. Can you help? I swear to God. I swear to God. And I heard eventually I heard something. I went out front to the side yard. I was like, oh, this crow's trapped. Okay. And I saved it. So I expect to be duly warded in the afterlife by the crows.
Well, what you should have done is cast Speak with Animals, because I'm pretty sure you have that on your skill sheet, and then you could have actually talked to it, and we could have rolled, for your success. That's what we should. That's what you need to do. You need to become a RPG streamer. They're doing right. They're doing well. They're making money, right?
Maybe I should become a crow and squirrel whisperer.
Yeah, I mean, LA is probably the place where you could make that a thing. That is honestly probably the place. Like, of all the cities, LA, you could probably do decent business with that.
Yeah.
But the
thoughts
Pope.
On
yeah,
CM,
I mean, like,
CM Pope. We
real thoughts on the Pope is that, like, in as much as this is still an institutionalist Catholic guy with all the hangups that comes with, it's a continuity choice, very much in line with Francis. I did think it was funny this week when he got stopped and was like, "Do you have any messages for America?" And he goes, "Many." I thought that was fun. Immediately coming out and calling for a ceasefire in Palestine, like, good.
Yeah.
Calling for the protections of journalists, good.
Yeah.
Don't expect anything. I think this is the nothing will change choice, basically.
Andy, how I described it last week, to remix it a bit, it was like, it is a win. It's not a great big win. It's not, as Alden said, a life-changing win. And yes, a lot of problems, not only on the Catholic Church's record, a little bit. He has some too of bad or delayed responses or no responses at all to sex abuse scandals. So that's all there, but so did Francis. But it's kind of like we said at the top of the show about GOP derailing the budget bill, at least for a week or for right now. I'm just going to take that. This is, I think, bigger than that. And that hopefully some of his words will continue to reach people who are in those religious organizations who need to hear this and get the permission structure to change. I believe that's a big thing that I never say as an excuse to folks, but sometimes you just need to hear someone who you think's aligned with you go, "Oh, you know what, trans rights, I'm for it. Oh, I can do that." Like, I really think that is sometimes overlooked as a powerful tool, and I think he could be part of that, and I'll take it.
And also, as it's been noted many times, he disagrees with JD Vance's bullshit interpretation of the whole, like, hierarchy of love, the amorous, what is it, amorous whatever. It doesn't matter.
Agape love? What are you talking about?
The whole, like, the thing that Vance was talking about with, like, that letter about and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So countdown to Vance killing him is on.
It's on, baby.
We'll see what happens. Tully Quinn asked, "Who wins in a fist fight, Bale or Luthen?" You did not pay the right amount of money to get an Android question, but I'm going to make an exception here. The answer is Clea. The answer is Clea.
The answer is Clea. That is a badass bitch. I love Clea. She's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars ever. Excellently portrayed by Elizabeth Dula, who's getting all this credit.
On her first role.
Well, her first, she has an extensive theater career, and but yes, this is her first big kind of rookie performance here, and it's amazing, and all the best to her, because it's amazing. But in terms of those two old dudes, Bale will put up a bigger fight than you think, but I think in the end, you got to go with Luthen.
Yeah, you would think that, like, Bale's at least got, like, can hold his own. He's married to a royal. Like, he probably has to be.
He's a scrapper.
Like, Luthen, we now know, is an ex-army man, but like, he's also doesn't look like he's in the best physicals. He's old. He's got a cane. Like, who knows? Who knows where it goes?
it'd be like-
Benjamin Brat Bale's got more hands than Jimmy, though. I think.
That's actually a good point because Brat looks more ready to go. Jimmy, God bless him, older, maybe facing some health problems that are undisclosed or unconfirmed. But like, yeah. But overall, I think that's look, Luthen. I said this yesterday. Like all the old coppers I used to work for. When my first contract security company I worked for was Andrews International. It was run by, no joke, 7 former LAPD SWAT guys, and they were all older, 48 and above. But even like the oldest guy at 70 could destroy you with his fist, like just squish you up. And they're just that old strong cuss. That's
old man strength is a real thing.
Yeah,
old man strength is real. I don't know where it comes from. Ken says, Luthen talks to squirrels. I have squirrels everywhere. I have squirrels everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, I feel as though
here anymore.
I'm part of the resistance. The rules of Burbank say don't feed the squirrels, and here I am. I bought a 5-pound bag of peanuts yesterday. I'm breaking the rules.
What do you think?
The frontier is everywhere.
What do you think Gavin Newsom's next move is going to be? He's going to eradicate squirrels.
He's going to burn down the squirrel hovel that I'm making in my backyard.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to criminalize squirrels.
We don't need to go on a whole like thing about him, but like, what a fucking asshole! Like, it's just like a speed run into assholery. It is incredible.
Yes, it is. It is. I will. Yeah, this is not a defense of him. I just know he's getting it from a lot of people who are former liberals in my town who are like, do something, and that's not necessarily who you should listen to.
Yeah.
You don't get me, but I'm watching it happen, and I'm like, oh, I remember I had that conversation with my friend at dinner who was like ready to vote Republican because of the homeless problem, and it's frustrating because homelessness shouldn't be a crime, and it's crime's an economic reason. But yes, he'll never win another election.
The
again.
Podcast and the throwing trans people under the bus, and now this, and then every single time that he does anything now, it's like incredibly off base. Plume did pay for an Andor question, which is to recast Andor with the Muppets. Now, Ken, there is an important first step to take here with any Muppets casting that happens, which is who is the one human actor that we retain? Because you get one human traditionally, one main human. Who stays? Is it Diego? Is it the obvious answer?
No, I think it might be Leo Partagas.
I feel like Anton Lesser and Stellan Skarsgård are the comedy picks.
No. To be honest, it's Ben Mendelsohn. I'd love to see him opposite. I'd like to see him put his finger on Miss Piggy's head. Now that I'm saying Miss Piggy's Dedra, but like, I think Luthen Rail, Sergeant Lear. I think that's Sam the Eagle.
I think that's Sam the Eagle as well. I agree with that. I think that makes sense. I think Fozzie Bear is Brasso.
Fozzie's Brasso. Okay.
Not that I want to see Brasso get. Or see Fozzie get dropped in a field and then never acknowledged again. But
I think Dr. Teeth is Saw. And the Partisans are the band.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm into that. I think that I'm trying to think of where to place Miss Piggy. Oh, Miss Piggy is Marva Andor.
Okay.
That feels right to me.
I can see that.
Speech.
I can see that.
I can't do a Miss Piggy voice, but just imagining her shouting like, "We've been sleeping." She's like,
"We've been sleeping."
Yeah,
Kermie, we've been sleeping. Lonnie is Beaker's a good one. Animal is Two Tubes. You guys are great with all these.
Yeah, I feel like Kermit as Cassian is kind of just right. Like that just feels right.
Yeah. I could see that. Absolutely. He's
like, you get like a really emotional scene with him and his wife, who is playing his mom in this context, like, but I want you to come with me, but we're supposed to get out of here, just all us three. And then we get Kermit in B2 scenes, and I need that.
Addie, who's trying to board a plane, she's paid for us to end the show. So
no, Addie, Swedish chef. Miss your flight. We're doing important business.
I think Swedish Chef could also be like Radis. Nah, I love Radis. I love Swedish Chef too, but I don't have a full handle on all the Muppets anymore. I'm trying to run through my head of.
I'm pulling up,
all the Muppets
just in case.
Beaker's Willman, ready to chuck bombs. That's That's possible. I'm also having a bit
And
of a
you know,
computer
don't
issue.
forget, guys, we also have the Sesame Street cast as well. I'm thinking like, you know, could instead of like Moroff being on the Partisans, is it just like Big Bird? Oh no,
Could
it's
be.
Snuffleupagus. That's who it is. He's there.
That works for me. Who's Pepe the King Prawn?
Oh, that's a great question. Cyril Karn.
We haven't got to Cyril. That might be it. Yeah.
I feel like Wilman Pock would be Bean Bunny.
Yeah. Okay. Statler Waldorf could be. They got to be rebel leaders at some point. They got to be Dodonna and Merrick, since they weren't actually there.
Yeah. I think who do we have here? You could actually, you know what I'm gonna do with Big Bird? Big Bird can be the sub for K2SO. Just imagine Big Bird approaching the apartment building and yeeting someone off the bridge.
Yeah. Big Bird is
Big Bird
right.
picking up here with as a meat shield.
Tully's not wrong here. Saws Oscar in his can. I like that as well. Ken Plume's the Scooter is Cyril. I could see that. Scooter's an interesting one. Yeah.
How about Gonzo as Kino Loy? Gonzo does the one way out speech.
I could see that. I could Robin the Frog could be Wilman too. Sweetums could be the ISB marshals. There's a lot of options. I'm just at this point. I'm just going down the list. It's a good question.
It's very fun. I'm always very in favor of what if this but Muppets questions, because it's always shockingly fun. Like there's always a lot of room to play with these questions, and who gets to be the human is always very fun. And again, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, we're gonna talk about it with Plume eventually, but it's just like, it's so stupid that there's no Muppets show on Disney Plus. It is infinitely stupid. Like it is a level of stupid I can't even comprehend.
There's a lot to it. Yeah. There's a lot to it. That they just don't know what to do with it. Yeah. Bunsen Honeydew is part of guess. Yeah, could be. Great question. All right.
The Count needs to get in there somewhere. I'm just not sure where to place him, but I feel like the Count could be General Draven, honestly. I think that'd be fun.
Count could be part of guess too. All right. Addie says, wrap the show, get some snacks on me. We're almost done.
We're almost done, Addie. Addie, where are you going if you're still watching?
She's ending a vacation. Is the only thing I know. Uncle Dad.
Oh, you're going home. Oh, that sucks. Sorry, Eddie. It always sucks when a vacation. Post-vacation depression has hit me like a Mack truck.
When you what was the feeling when you got on the plane to leave Japan, and what was the feeling when you landed back home? Take me through the two emotions.
The getting on the plane to leave Japan sucked because it felt like, you know, like an adventure ends. You know, and not in the like mythic
sad music
monomyth way of like
sad music playing in your soul.
Sad music playing literally. Like I threw on my headphones on the plane. I'm sitting there.
That's the best.
I'm listening to The Last Dinner Party. You know, I'm vibing. I'm getting in touch with my inner lesbian. I'm like, you know, it's like, you know, and then being sad and being cramped and you know, because I don't got the money for those nice big pods. And then landing back in Florida was just fucking miserable. Like it is just like is one of the actually I connected in DC, so connecting in DC just made my anxiety flare up.
Oh hoping I'm like
survive.
At least it wasn't
don't want to,
but
don't want to be there, and I don't want to even go through customs with these people. Not that I'm big enough for them to like be concerned about like stuff I've said, but
Hassan, you're not Hassan.
I'm not Hassan. But even comics, like Nikki Glazer said that one of her friends, I forget what comic it was, but got stopped and was questioned and about do you make jokes about our president? Yeah, bitch. Everyone does. Like everyone does. But landing back at actually Florida was just like a vicious, horrible come down. Just like every single thing about it that I already disliked, I disliked about 10 times.
Just heightened up.
It was
just felt it again.
It is just miserable. The weather.
I'm not trying to make you relive your pain. I feel it. I get it. The first time
people here are ass.
Yeah. The first time I went to New York in 2015 after, going there for Screen Junkies, and just I had so many faced my regrets and stuff I didn't do in my groundlings career and everything. And I just, and it was a wonderful trip. I loved it. I felt the world had opened up in front of me, but I had to go back to my life. And I had headphones in, listening to the slow acoustic, drawn out version of New York by Ryan Adams, just like just crying in my soul. It was great, but it was a good cry, you know.
Yeah,
but then there's Molly Damon. I pounded 3 free drinks and ate a ton of free food. It was great. She was in the Delta Sky Club for the first time.
The Delta Sky Club. But she clarifies that she is not a member. Molly doesn't want us to pigeonhole her as a 1%er. You know,
she's a 5%er.
Tully says, I was worried you were going to get held up, Alden. Very glad. No Star Wars folks, I noted. Yeah, I have not heard. First, I appreciate that. There hasn't been any issue with anyone that I personally know so far yet.
Look,
thankfully.
Man, I've had more friends get stopped going to Canada to perform in comedy festivals and get detained and forced to do the entire act going into Canada than any coming in here yet. But times are changing. 100% true. 100% true, because you can't go make money there. You can't make money, and so are you a comic? You're a comic. Then they pulled him in a room in front of like 3 guards. He had to do his entire 20-minute act.
That's so wild. What a time! What a delightful time! I love life under fascism. It's great. One of my students got deported. Damn, Addie, dropping that so late in the show. Holy shit.
Well, what Addie forgot to say is Addie called. That's what she's not saying.
That'd be a great second comic. A second comment. Like, yeah, I narked.
She's like, the hotline works great. Yeah.
I was doing a test.
Awful.
No,
it's
awful.
Yeah, no, believe me, it's real. I'm not downplaying it. I think I told the story here, but I told my cousin's the mayor of Burbank, my cousin by marriage, and ICE did come to the wood ranch I go to, and the manager locked themselves in the office and refused to let them in to get the records of who worked there. And I was like, "That's my wood ranch. That's my wood ranch."
Hell yeah! Give your money to that wood ranch. No, honestly, I've already briefed pretty much everyone I know, especially my sister being brown and my nephews being brown. I was just like, the only word that should come out of your mouth if you encounter these people is lawyer. That's it. That's it. It's lawyer and nothing else. Bruce Steve says wife's school currently has weekly meetings about what to do on ICE. Yeah, I know that my old high school, I'm still in touch with some of those teachers because I'm me, and it's been extremely stressful. One of my favorite teachers I've ever had, I was talking to her the other day, and she was I joked, I was like, it's probably difficult for you to teach Handmaid's Tale now, huh? And she was like, yeah, I was very casually and calmly and sweetly asked to maybe table that book for a while. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Wonderful that they won't let you teach a text that makes them a little bit uncomfortable about, the shit that they're doing. It's a crock of shit. It really is. My heart goes out to all educators right now, especially. It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah. So we will rewatch Andor and take notes.
No, for real. Yeah. And then remember, of course, that there is a place for every type of rebel. I think I got very, very, and I texted Ken about it, I got very heated in a real life way about the way some of the Yavin leadership acted. And I talked about it on Blue Sky too, to further explain it. And I stand by it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, Noah Jabel's an asshole, but I also do need Noah Jabel, to a certain degree.
I think it was played for intentional somewhat to what you were talking about. Absolutely.
Now we're on the legal, but guys, we went from Muppets into this, and I apologize.
That's what we do at Anytime. And thanks to Jen Maddle for telling us to have a good Friday with a nice super chat.
It's really nice that some of you guys give money just out of the kindness of your heart and not to steer the direction of the show. And that's not me saying that I'm anti the steering the direction of the show. That's why we have.
Oh no, I love when Ken Plume pays for a question I ignore. It's amazing.
I love. We didn't ignore his. I don't ignore your questions, Ken Plume.
Oh yeah, Joe Don Baker passed away yesterday, right? Great in Goldeneye, by the way.
Oh, okay. What was the age on that? Let me see. Joe Don Baker was. Why don't anybody at 89? Wow, that's a good run.
That's a life, man. That's a life.
I don't even know
That's
if I
a
want
life.
to make it to 89. You ever think about the age you want to go?
Yeah, 49.
Man, come on, don't say that.
This is it.
Don't
Punching
say
out, buddy.
that.
Punching out.
Although I would crush a Ken Knapsack eulogy. I really would.
It'd be. Yeah, I don't know who would show up.
You need to leave a list of people that I need to bounce. That's what you need to list. More so than a guest list.
I'll give you that list. I got it ready. Recast each other as Muppets.
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah.
Who are you? You're a little Scooter. Who are you? You're Pepe the King Prong. I don't know.
Pepe the King Prawn. I thought I'd be better than him.
Molly suggests catered by 7-Eleven and Del Taco. Hells yeah. No, I'm sticking around because I realized I've so set these squirrels up to failure to fail because I'm their food source now, and so if I disappear, no one puts the food out. What the hell are they going to do? I care for these squirrels now.
It's not
Alden
just
is
about you
Gonzo
anymore.
No, I think
Alden
I'm Kermit and Alden's Robin.
2 votes on Gonzo. Is that what you guys think about me? I like Gonzo.
See, this is dangerous. This is dangerous when you start asking people what they think of you.
Andy with the greatest compliment I've ever received.
Sam the Eagle. That's a little accurate.
They've given me Kermit. They've given me Kermit, and I will ride that high for the rest of my life because I don't think I deserve that. But
yeah.
I try to be sometimes the Kermit of my friend group. Sometimes dealing with my friends feels like running the Muppet Show, where I'm just like,
you got good friends.
You know.
I have a face turn Waldorf, a little Statler Waldorf mixed into as well. Fascinating.
That's going to be us in a few years. That's what it feels like. At the rate that I'm aging, because you've stayed
the rate
for like I forget what the context was. It was after I got back from LA. I was talking to my family about the trip, and I was showing them pictures. There's a picture that you and I took together.
It's a good picture.
And I said, Ken and I only have a picture together from like once every few years. And I said, and I've aged and Ken has stayed the same. And I said, and that's because that's what happens when you're a white man who's unproblematic, is that your aging stops. Like you're able to stop the aging because you look exactly the same now as you did when I met you in 2019.
Here's the secret. It is a skincare routine. Gentlemen, dude, listen to The Rock. Get your papuya or whatever you sell them, but I use other stuff. I have a very simple one-item skincare. My hands are so soft. My cheeks are still bouncy. And it's gentlemen, get past the stereotypes. You got to embrace it.
I gotta start because I feel like I'm getting crusty, and like with you not aging and me aging, we're both gonna be 49 at a certain point, and it's gonna really even out.
Yeah.
This was funny where Andy says, referring to me, my friend group is like herding cats, and Andy said I learned a lot about straight male culture celebration. And you know, if Andy was on, Andy could explain it better. I will convey what I was told. We're walking around in the convention center in Japan, and Andy and Andy's lovely husband Evan were joking, but also very seriously. We're like, we've realized that you straight guys don't like check up on each other when you're like in motion. Like you don't say, all right, we're going to meet here. Who's going with who? We just drift off and trust that we'll find each other. And I never realized that, but it is true. There would be times where I'd be like, where's Charlie Ashby? I don't fucking know. I don't know where he is.
He'll find us.
We just let each other fail. We let each other fall. You know, and Andy was saying that in queer culture, I guess it's very much more about like move as a team, have landmarks, know what's going on, actually care. Producer Steve is right. Addie, just tell the pilot to just hold on. The hell does he have to do?
All right, we'll try to start to end the show here. Hour and a half. This is a long file to download. All right. But this has been fascinating. I also got to check on my squirrels and chase out some cats in my yard.
The squirrels are outside. Like, God, did the squirrels see you as some sort of god? And like now they're outside and they're like, Ken has forsaken us.
They're like, Beanie Guy's here again. And Plume's right. One of my secrets is beanies. Everyone makes fun of the Steve Buscemi 30 Rock meme, but that it's true. It's real. It's real. All right. Look at Ringo Starr. Look how Ringo Starr dresses. I'm gonna be dressing like him when I'm 80.
I'm in a group chat full of people where I'm the oldest. And I'm as we said, I'm 29, so we have people ranging from 22 to like 25 are the other people. And when I got added to this chat, I said something to the effect of like, is this an okay place to share dank memes? And they all started laughing at me. And they said, Alden says dank memes, as if that was like an old guy thing to say. Mind you, again, we are all in our 20s. But I have already crossed over into being like,
and look,
fellow kids.
It happens. It happens. I love that little exchange from Up in the Air between Anna Kendrick and God, what's her name? Claire Filani. Is it Filani? I appreciate what your generation did for me.
Oh,
you're welcome.
Vera
Farmiga. You're welcome.
That is one of the essential Alden and Ken Film Festival selections.
Yeah, Up in the Air. Up in the Air is a great movie. Up in the Air, I love it.
For those of you that don't know, we'll close the show, but I will share for context because I was taught in radio that you shouldn't just introduce old bits without table setting because it alienates new listeners. A long time ago, we created and I have it on my letterbox. You could all follow me. A Anytime with Ken and Alden Film Festival lineup. And the films were Almost Famous, Little Miss Sunshine, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Up in the Air, Young Guns 2, and Dogma, which I stand by. I stand by all of those.
I stand by every single one of those.
That's a perfect lineup. Dogma celebrating 25 years because the rights are finally no longer with Weinstein.
That's right. I have my copy. Andy should watch, if they haven't already, Young Guns 1 and 2, especially Young Guns 2, to study what single male culture could be if you just cared and loved for your pals a little bit more.
Straight guys that showed, honestly, like and Andy, of course, knows this about like the Tolkien stuff, but I've always said what we need is not toxic masculinity or even positive masculinity. We need Tolkien masculinity. We need to be kissing each other on the forehead, sharing arm bracers, cooking stuff, tackling each other.
Potatoes.
Making potatoes.
Mash them, boil them, put them in a stew.
We need to be finding a little meth head and putting him on a leash and being like, this is my friend.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be doing.
There you go. All right.
Anyway, that's my last note. as I played off by the Anytime band. Thanks, band. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, everybody in the back. Thank you for all our
Questlove, everybody. Questlove in the band. Questlove in the Anytimers.
Thank you to this incredible cast.
Thank you to Lauren. Thank you to Lauren. I had an amazing week. Oh my God, this week is so amazing. So amazing.
Addie's plane.
Thank you to Addie's plane. Where's that country music star going? Where's he going? Okay, bye.
Thank you to the Muppets.
Thank you to the Muppets. Oh my God, thank you to Kermit, Robin, Miss Piggy. Oh, it was a dream. It was a dream. We'll see you next week. Bye.